Okay. Ahí vamos, chicos. So, good morning, and thank you for being here with us. Today, as you know, sometimes from time to time in Readmagine, we like to invite other industries, other sectors, to learn from them how they have faced the digital transformation. And in this case, this year, we decided to invite 3 experts on the media, press, magazine industry. Two of them belonging to the publishing side of the business, and one of them belonging to the distribution side of the business. The topic is very long and very wide. That's why we have decided to skip this part of individual presentations and just jump into the dialogue, the conversation with the different topics we want to cover. I don't know if there's, here it is, because we would like to follow this, sorry. Well, we will follow this index in the conversation to make sure we don't forget anything. Before jumping to the dialogue, I'm going to introduce the speakers. So the first one is María Álvarez. María is the head of Insights and Digital Business for Hola Group. That is the parent company of brands of the Hola and Hello brand. They operate worldwide as magazines and a digital product with a special focus in Mexico, United States of America, UK, and Mexico. María has been working in the industry for 23 years, and her main responsibilities in the digital business area are, well, everything that has to do with data, programmatic advertising, ad operations, digital marketing, SEO, subscriptions, affiliates, so he manages all this umbrella of digital. Next to her, we have Ricardo Fernandez de Molina. He has also he has 18 years of experience in the media sector and is currently the director of digital business for the B2B market in Prisa Media. That is the leading company in creation and distribution of cultural information and entertainment content in Spanish languages and in Spanish-speaking markets, with presence in more than 24 countries. In his current position, Ricardo is taking part of the digital transformation of leader brands, as El País, Diario As, or Cinco Días. And in addition to that, he is also a board member of the company Kiosco Hay Más, that is the Spanish press and magazine digital platform that distributes more than 400 publications, digital publications. And last but not least, Hugo Merino, next to me. Hugo, he is the director of branded editions for PressReader. PressReader is the largest platform of newspapers and magazines in the world, with a clear focus on B2B business, as we will see. They work with hotels, with airlines, transportation companies, cruises, in more than 150 companies. Hugo has more than 8 years of experience providing technology solutions to publishers and other content creators, as well as supporting the publishers and the content creators, supporting them to increase the audience and the subscription development of their platforms, both in B2B and B2C verticals. So that was a short introduction of the speakers I have the pleasure to talk with today. So if we start in this order, the market and revenues, and since you know we are from the book world, and we would love to understand, maybe the audience doesn't know, not everyone knows, how is what's the market size of newspapers and magazines? I am asking Ricardo, María, how can you give us a size of the market, the digital share of this market, and also how is it organized in terms of revenues? Do you have analogic circulation, digital circulation, advertising, digital analogic advertising? So just for us to understand a little bit more the amounts and the size of the market before jumping into the...
Me?
Both of you.
Okay. Nice to be here. Hello, everyone. I don't know, maybe it's difficult to give a context of our market, but if I speak in terms of, for example, advertising investment in the whole market of Spain, it's a really relevant indicator for us. This figure has increased from 2019 to 2022 in more than 40%, I mean, the whole market of advertising, okay? But in the specific case of the press, it has fallen at 11%. That's a bad news, but that allows us to try to find the next step. So we know that our piece of the cake is smaller than in the past, and we have to be focused on that.
And María, from your...
Yes, well, the case of the magazines, the print magazines, is quite similar. At the moment, the share we've got on the total advertising market is 2.2, which is not very big. But the digital advertising is big. It's 47% of the market. It includes a wide range of sites and big players, but there are huge opportunities on the digital advertising side. Okay, so in terms of the type of revenue we've got in the company, we have revenues both for selling print magazines, also digital magazines, also advertising, the advertising in the magazines and the advertising in digital, which is like the most obvious part. Also, we have started a new line, which is selling content, okay, content creation, especially TV documentaries to big platforms like Amazon Prime, okay? Then about your question about the share of the digital. I can speak about my company. In my company, the digital revenue share weight is 25 in Spain, taking into account all the digital revenues. It's quite different from what we see, for example, in the US. In the US, that we've got an important revenue stream coming from the US is coming mainly from the digital side of the business, is around 95. And then the growth we've got, in general, we have been growing around 10% last year, the digital advertising especially. The digital subscriptions have grown 30%. But there are countries where the growth is bigger. In the US, we have seen 25, or even in Mexico, 50. So we see different things depending on the country.
The maturity of the country, no? Maturity. Okay.
I suppose that we have similar examples of, magazines and press. In the case of the press, the evolution of the composition of our revenues. Maybe we come from at the beginning of the century. Maybe we had a third part were the advertising, a third part were the print circulation, and another third part were some of the products mainly related to the print circulation, some other kind of products. Okay. But now we are suffering a great transformation. Obviously, we are turning to the digital. As another indicator, I can tell you that the consumption of paper in the press world, in Spain, has fallen in almost 50% from 2018 and 2022. Okay, so it's a really big fall, and it's again really a big measure of the change of our model. Okay, nowadays the digital advertising is maybe a little bit higher than the print advertising. Okay, more than 50%. It was coming from 4 years ago 35%, and now we are in 55 maybe. It's similar in our specific case in our company. Okay. So this is the change. We are turning from the print world to the digital world, and we have to care about what happened with the advertising.
Okay,
that's really
that's the key
here.
no? The advertising is the key. So as we can imagine that when you have to adopt the digital transformation or the digital adoption, if we jump to the digital adoption, of course brings opportunities to everyone, but also wakes some fears. Some of them are rational fears, make sense. Others are very irrational. In the case of the book industry, for instance, we face a huge opportunity with internationalization of the content. All of a sudden, we were everywhere. Books could be everywhere. We had a reasonable fear with the piracy, and we had maybe one not reasonable fear, that was the fear of losing the paper edition. There was a time that people were talking about the death of the printed book, which is not the case at all. No? So what in your case, would you say, the three of you, can you tell us one, the main one, opportunity you think you have had in your sector due to the digital transformation, one rational fear, real fear, and one that was something that was not, that was unfounded fear? Can you share that with us? You can start, Hugo.
Sure. As you mentioned before, we are the largest platform on newspapers and magazines, and we grab the content, in this case, from all the publishers of the world, including Hola and Prisa titles, and we distribute in the B2B.
Yeah.
We see a lot of opportunities in the B2B, and we try to get businesses in areas where publishers, they are not able to get by themselves. So the case of the airlines is one, the case of the libraries is another one.
Yes.
And now we are looking for new verticals where we can get over there with the help of the publishers. These verticals could be ground transportations, like we are working with trains, for example. We sign a deal in Spain here with Renfe, and it's a new vertical where we are trying to bring all the content from the publishers and provide it to these specific sectors. And also opportunities in the health industry. Hospitals could be, private hospitals could be one of them, where we get into a private hospital and we offer our services, as we can see that there are not many newspapers and magazines right now into the private hospitals. On the other hand, the fears, getting into verticals where, in this case, the publishers are already there, because we don't want to compete with them. We want to be a branch. We want to be a channel to create for them more revenue, to create more value for our B2B partners, and definitely more revenue for PressReader.
Okay, so, well, one opportunity is the one you said, internationalization, in our case, because of two reasons. We've got a Spanish site, hola.com, that has a large audience in LATAM, so we have big inventory in these countries. And we also have an English-speaking site, Hello Magazine site, hellomagazine.com, with an important presence in the UK, and also in the US, in Canada, Australia, all the English-speaking countries. So this has been, a big opportunity. Moreover, because the countries I have mentioned, they are very rich countries, so the prices we see they pay us for the advertising are a lot higher than the ones we see in Spain or in LATAM, okay? An unfounded fear, probably that, at least myself at the beginning, when I started to work on the digital advertising side, digital advertising was like an evaluated product compared to the advertising in the magazines. And now this is not, it was unfounded, because at the moment it is something very valuable. The advertisers want digital audience, they want to use digital formats, and something that is very good related to the digital advertising is that we can measure everything, and this is very important to measure and to see the performance of the campaigns. And then the main risk for us, and probably for all big sites, is the dependency we've got on the content distributors, especially on Google. We rely too much on the audience coming from Google, both from search and discover. Google, from time to time, changes the strategy or make changes on the algorithm. they are not very transparent about all this, so it's a risk, because sometimes you don't know what is happening on your site.
Well, in a similar way to you, or for us, I don't know if I told you before, but nowadays the digital advertising is our bigger source of incomes, okay? And there is where our, or what I think is our biggest risk born. We are seeing that the digital advertising is in a standstill, so we have to look for some new models, of course. And that's why I think that problem could be a risk or a fear and an opportunity. Because now we have to think in another way. And the thing is, think in the customer, not in the publisher, in the advertiser. Try to focus on the content and what to offer to the users, to the readers, and be strong there. We think we are strong there, and we have to focus more on that, and to guarantee that we offer the best content to them. Okay.
Okay, to move forward, because...
And the not real risk, I hope, that we could see the paper forever. I mean...
Yeah. So it's the same case as... So let's move to the next one, that from product to service, because at the end with digital, what we have seen is that we were selling products, you were selling products, now you are selling services. We are moving from unique channel strategy to multi-channel strategy, segmentation of clients to a extreme level of individuality. We have also the experience of internationalization, so it's a huge shake. In terms of product, moving product to service, how have you done this process of thinking, now I had a magazine, I had a newspaper, now I don't have that. I have a unit, a service, a unit of information, a piece of information that should be transferred in different, multiple ways. So which are the services you are selling now, or how did you switch this mindset, and which are the services you are selling now in your portfolio, in your companies? In this case, I'm asking the publishers because it's the ones that did the change.
Okay. Well, as I was saying, we have to be really focused on the content, and we have to look for every new kind of format and channel to be sure that we are near to all the audience. Okay. So that's the main thing for us now, to be to open to that new kind of channels. There was a transformation when the social networks burned, and that's a challenge for us, to know how to be there, to know how to be near to the customer through those absolutely new for us channels, and how we adapt to that way of offering the content.
But one thing that I wanted to ask you, and you can connect the answer, Maria, is one of the things that the product, moving from product to service, has bring is the fact that digital, you can have the hypertext, you can have the multimedia, you can have new narratives, all that tools together with the services you are offering. How have you used that to engage the audience? Because at the end you have talked, both of you have talked a lot about advertising, so this is something we in the book industry we are not so used to. Apparently is one of your core business in digital. So how can you, I guess that depends a lot on the engagement you do with the audiences. How have you used all these tools of digital to engage?
Well, in our case, it's similar to what Ricardo said. The content is key. Other innovation normally don't scale too well, and we focus a lot on content, quality content, exclusives, and the type of things that are on the core of our editorial concept. There are specific formats that engage more with the users. I can give you two examples. For example, the image galleries within our content the users really love them. They enjoy, especially the red carpets, when there is an special event like the Oscars, they really enjoy. We can have galleries with 100 images, and the user sticks to the end of the galleries, okay? So that one is one to mention. And the other one, we don't have it very often because it's not very easy to have them, but when we have it, it's really crazy. It's when we've got live streaming events, and especially the influencers' weddings on the website. It's crazy. Everybody's there, and they really enjoy this type of content.
I can imagine that, well, and this helps a lot with the advertising. Is the best way to engage?
Yes, of course, we need content to create the audience and then to put advertising to this audience. So the bigger the audience is, the bigger the revenue we get.
Right. In your case, Hugo, before I have another question for Ricardo, but first of you, because in PressReader, what you do in your platform, you have now the product you have. You sell a service, but the product, it's a PDF. It's a PDF of a digital version of PDF version of a newspaper or a magazine. How are you planning to move that forward? Because at the end, there are some newspapers that are only digital, have been born digital. They don't have a PDF version, and that means that PressReader is not showing this content in the platform. Are you thinking of incorporating new products or even podcasts, audio, everything that can enrich the information that is in PressReader, which is currently a lot, but...
Actually, it's the same question that we ask our CEO every year, how to improve the content and how to make different content, have to have different content in the platform. A few years back, he gave us an answer that in my case, or in my opinion, was not the right one. And what we did 2 years ago was grabbing RSS content from sites of different publishers that they allow us to do it, and we pay a license for that, and making PDFs based on the RSS content. Okay. But still, it's the same format, it's a PDF. I don't know how many people here read PDFs. I don't know if many or not, but anyway. However, what we are doing right now, we change our CEO, and he's looking for new ways to bring content. One of them is RSS.
You change the CEO.
Yes. No, don't say that. But yes, he's looking for new ways to bring content. We are testing in specific markets like RSS, and we are putting the RSS in a similar way as Instagram. Like you have like a kind of a circle, you click, and you have news from BBC, from Le Figaro, for example. And depending on how it goes, we want to implement it in other markets. Okay. And we are testing with some specific partners, podcasts and video. But still, we are not seeing a lot of revenue coming from the podcast and the video. So after the test, we will decide if we will implement it in other markets.
Okay. Before going to the distribution, I wanted to ask you something maybe a little bit philosophical, but it has to do with the possibilities of digital. We talked before. In a way, you as media, you measure everything. You said that. You measure everything. You know very well the profiles. You can even you can even create an individual newspaper for each of us.
We should.
Yeah. You can say, Arantza likes these topics. This is her newspaper. Each of us can have our newspaper. Are you working on that?
Absolutely, yeah. As our future comes from giving that step from the focus on maybe advertising to the customer, or to how the customer, the relationship with us, okay, the subscription, we have to be more flexible. Nowadays, if you buy the subscription of El País, you have the whole contents of El País every day. And maybe you will never read anything about politics or, I don't know, economics. So we have to be really flexible and going to that point of maximum personalization of the service or the product that we offer to the reader. Okay, and we think that is a benefit for the market, for our position on the market, because probably more, a lot of people doesn't like how we speak about some kind of things.
Yeah.
And we are strong in different things, in culture, in technology, I don't know. So why don't go to that personalization of what you want to pay for? Okay?
Right. No, this has a lot of
and we are working on that.
You're working
really
on that, yeah.
Deeply.
No, it makes sense, but at the same time, it has some shadows because at the from outside the publishing media, no, because the shadow of having you only read what you want to read, which it has benefits, but at the same time, it goes against this global vision, or you can have the temptation of believing that what you read is the reality, what you like is the reality. No? Very similar to what is happening with social networks, that is creating polarity, and you believe that the only thing in the world is what you see. Maybe in aggregators like PressReader can help to mitigate these shadows, because, for instance, in PressReader you have a functionality that you select a topic, I don't know, any topic, political, cultural, and you go and you do a scan of this topic in all the catalog you have. So in a way you can have different point of views of a specific matter, no?
Yeah, exactly.
This can be a help for that risk that we were talking.
It's a way that we position ourselves to try to offer different opinions and different point of views from different media houses. And also something that when we try to get to a new market, something that the partners in that market ask is to bring different point of view. So newspapers and magazines that offer different opinions. So we are able to kind of make wider news in that specific region. Just to give an example, when we start working on Hong Kong, we were working with China Daily, and many partners in Hong Kong, they were asking for kind of the main competitor over there, that was South China Morning Post, because they thought that the vision that this only newspaper was offering to the platform was not enough, and then we put all our efforts to bring kind of the counterpart. And we try to do the same in all the markets that we penetrate, and it's our flat, not to try to offer as much news as possible with different opinions.
Okay, so now we move to business models. That's another topic that we have discussed a lot in the world sector, because at the end, with digital, you have to find the correct, well, not the correct, but one of the business models that can allow you to be sustainable and you have your economic independence. You know? Especially in the press and the media, it's very important, because if the media or the press is not independent economically, you are then constrained, and you are not free for editorial, to have your own editorial position. And if you don't have your own editorial position, there's at some point some risk of freedom of expression. No? So the money gives a lot of freedom in that case. So how can you share with us which kind of experiences, business models have you tested along all these years? Which ones have you discarded because they were a total ruin? And which ones have been successful or you believe could be successful for the future and for the sustainability of your business models?
So, well, there are like two ways. We've got digital advertising and mostly subscriptions and paid content, okay? On the digital advertising, we keep selling display through the commercial teams, but we have different models of digital advertising. We also sell a lot of branded content. We sell on programmatic streams, both on direct or on the open markets. In this case, it's really good because you reach worldwide. You take demand from worldwide through the programmatic. It's easy to get money from all the countries from using the open programmatic. We are also using, well, starting in Spain, but with more experience in UK and US, the affiliates. Affiliates is a new way of taking resources to the company. And we keep relying networks in some specific formats for native ads, for example. And also we work with partners that we give them our content outside our websites, and what they do is that the advertising they get into our content, they have a revenue share with us, okay? On the paid content, we are at the very beginning of the model, so I'm sure Ricardo can speak more about that. We are at the very beginning. We have more focus on collecting more data for marketing purposes and advertising, and explaining this journey to the user, which is not very simple, because they are very used to have everything free because it's supported by the advertising. Yeah. So I'm sure Ricardo can
Yeah, it's true. First of all, I think I was telling about that, but the advertising is really important for us nowadays. But the real thing is that we are focused on the digital subscription. That is our future, we know that, and we have to work on that really hard. Maybe you remember when El País launched the first paywall in 2002. We were pioneers. I think we were pioneers. You have to know, well, maybe you know, New York Times launched on 2011, so it was really many years before. And it was, well, the thing is that maybe it was not the moment, because the digital market were growing at that time, 2002, okay? And we found that we started to have a problem with the audiences and with the incomes coming from the advertising, from digital advertising. And no one here in Spain decided to give the same step. So at the third year, 3 years after, in 2005, we decided to close the paywall and again open all the contents, because we were on that war of audiences, okay? Maybe we should have stayed on that purpose, but, well, the thing is that here we are. We launched it again 3 years ago. Well, the figures on that at that time, 2002, in 3 years, we got 30,000 subscribers, digital subscribers, okay? And, well, we decided to cut that, and from 2020 and 2023, so 3 years, we have grown in 250,000 subscribers. So it's a different moment for the digital product, yeah, digital press, and we are. Maybe it's the last opportunity to give that step. Now all the really important newspapers in Spain have made the same movement. So we are now on that
path.
Yeah.
Okay, since we are running out of time, I want to jump into unless you want to add something. No? Okay, so we want one topic that we thought 10 minutes. Okay, so. The new profiles, because one thing that we are covering in Readmagine this year is the issue of the training of people, attracting people to our sector, how to train, how to recycle people, and skills. No? So one of the challenges of all of industries is that how are you going to manage the human resources side of the adventure, no? And I wanted to ask you, how are you doing that in a publishing house of media? Are you looking for? Can you share with us different new profiles that are happening in the newsroom or beyond the newsroom? And which kind of journalist are you trying to look for? Is someone that knows how to write, how to write stories, build the stories, but at the same time manage a lot of formats, and which is a more technical aspect. So how do you do that? In the newsroom, everything is separated, digital from paper. I mean, give us some ideas on how have you done that in your houses.
We make it with many problems, really.
Okay.
That's right? No. Well, for example, for us, and speaking about, for example, El País, okay? Maybe the most important area inside the company is the newsroom, because it's they generate they produce the contents, okay? So we need them to be, I mean, they are the key of the company. And when we travel through this transformation, it's absolutely important to transform, again, the profiles or how the newsroom works, okay? But that's a problem because, well, El País has around 400 journalists, and some of them come from the foundation of the newspaper. So you can imagine the hard work that we have to do, trying to teach with new skills, trying to transform their mind and to be focused on the digital way of publishing or generating contents, okay? And of course, we have to take in new profiles on with the new skills in digital, in the data analysis, social network, of course, and controlling the audiences in general. So this is a really different profile to the old journalists. Speaking about journalists, yes, okay, and this is a really challenge, a real challenge.
Yeah, it's challenging because the digital journalist needs a lot of specialization. Apart from working with a CMS, they need to have SEO knowledge, which is not easy from people coming from the print newsroom. They also need to have capacity of analysis to have a deep look on the performing of the content. This is very different to how the newsroom on the magazines work. Outside the newsroom, there are a lot of new profiles. In the last 5 years, we have, I can say that specialization is key. In my team, I've got many analysts, but they have started to be very specialized on a specific focus. I've got programmatic specialists, affiliates specialists. Then also on the side of the technical implementations, we also need very specific profiles on the business side to speak to the developers. The developers also have started to be very specialized. We have started to work with a new organization based in squads, like in little groups of people specialized on a very specific thing. For example, ad tech, ad implementations. And also there are other new profiles like product managers and project managers that comes from other type of companies, but now they have an important role because sometimes you need someone who push for everything and chase a project, and this is the role of the project manager or the product manager that has the vision of the whole product and involves all the different areas of the company.
Mm-hmm. The problem is to have the money to pay them.
Yeah.
We need more money. Yeah. We have to be richer than we are.
Okay, and just to close, the last point, and this is a very funny topic, because that's the next level of digital, no? Everyone is talking about NFTs, about metaverse, artificial intelligence, which is probably what makes more sense immediate sense for your industry. And you are doing some tests in the media, for instance, using text-to-speech, text-to-image, image-to-text. You are starting to use these little tools of artificial intelligence, but probably the artificial intelligence, I was reading the other day, and I wanted to ask you your feelings or your impression. They say that the artificial intelligence in media can lie to us. We get confused because we won't be able to recognize reality after all. We will see a picture and we will believe it's true, and probably has been AI created. So these lies are out there, which increases the risk of fake news. But at the same time, maybe only AI is the one that can unmask these lies. It's the only one that can recognize this is a lie. No? So it's a problem and maybe it's the solution at the same time. How do you see that? Because fake news is one of the major risks probably you have in your industry, because credibility is the key, as you said, the robust content. So how do you see that? Are you testing things on artificial intelligence? Do you think it's an opportunity? Of course, both sides will be there, but just to listen to your opinion.
Well, to avoid fake news, you have to go to El País, to Hola, and you,
And that's all.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, we know that.
Not only.
And go to
it's-
PressReader too.
And yeah. I mean, you need to know where you are reading things, and the authority of the site is writing about that topic, okay? About artificial intelligence we are using, but in the good way of the artificial intelligence, we use it for personalization purposes on the sites, especially for content recommendation, marketing actions personalized, and also for advertising campaigns, okay? So we are using it on the good way. Apart from the fake news, there is a risk and there is fear in the industry on how Google is going to use artificial intelligence. They have recently announced that they are testing to use generative artificial intelligence in some specific type of results, the search, the exploratory search, which is true that is a very specific search, is the one that is like very complex. Tell me a good 3-star hotels to go with kids on the seaside that admits pets and has vegan food. Okay, these are the type of what they said. Okay, that they are going to apply to this type of search. So, but we've got fear because we never know how far they are going to go on the use of this, and if they use this a lot on the search results, we will get less traffic from the people clicking on the SERP. So,
yeah,
that's right. We are in the same point. We're really worried about that. We know we have to be there. We have to experiment and develop things related to the IA, and we are doing in a small scope yet. But we are mainly worried about the role of this kind of new solutions for the user, because as Maria was saying, we live from a big part from the CEO. That traffic. So if they change the rules, what happened with us? What happened with the content generator? That could be a problem. Google or Microsoft is telling that, don't worry, we will find the solution for you. Don't worry. But we are really worried because something is changing. So.
And do you have any rules for the journalists on how to use, for example, ChatGPT? Is something that, as a platform, as well worry us. There is any specific rules internally on how to use ChatGPT in order to get
how to use
how to get the information? In
Don't
this case?
use.
Don't use. Okay.
Create.
Great.
Make me actually more confident. Thank you.
No, in our case, it's true that we have forbidden to create the content through ChatGPT. This is forbidden in our company because we are a content creator, so we don't want this. But it's true that you can use it to prepare the content, okay? To make researches, especially on some, for example, the affiliate contents that sometimes you need you want to speak about a product and you want to see which is the opinion on the reviews of this product, and wow, there is a lot of information on the website or even within Amazon. So using the ChatGPT for this, the paid version of ChatGPT, can help, but not to create the content, not to create it.
That's what people has to know. What is, for example, ChatGPT for? And if you are trying to look for something, I don't know what, you have to know where to look for it, where to go. Just asking to ChatGPT is a risk in terms of what answer you will receive. So I don't know the word in English, rigor.
Rigor. I don't know. Rigor. I think we understand more or less. Rigor. Accuracy. Yes, accuracy.
That's what we put in value, okay? That we generate that
that's
rigor.
true. And that's the key, no? That's the key, the accuracy. Very well. So thank you so much, three of you. I think we went on time. Thank you so much for your time
Thank you.
and being with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Muy bien.
Gracias.